Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. I thought today on the dev server we would have a look at the SM-4. This is a new little coastal machine that is coming in for the USSR tech tree, and the vehicle itself is just a little bit of fun. It's an MTB, so a motor torpedo boat, and you'll find it in the coastal tree after the new reserve, which is the D3. So, if you decide to get into the coastal tech tree, this will probably be the first vehicle that you research before getting into the MO4, the OD200, and also the MPK 163 and the MPK PR122A. Generally, it won't cost a lot, it'll be very easy to research through, and also its armament at 1.3 is pretty good. You can see on the vehicle it has access to 3 DShKs, two 12.7mm on the front, and then also one 12.7mm on the back. You also have access to 2 torpedoes, the 353-38s. These aren't exactly the best torpedoes in the world, but they do have quite a nice travel distance. Usually, a lot of early coastal machines don't actually have great travel distance on their torpedoes, but they have generally good speed. If you have a look at the French ones, for example, this is a great kind of example of this, where these ones with the longer travel distance with the torpedo mode, where it adds 6,000 torpedo max distance, it means that you can actually use these torpedoes against bigger machines. If you have a look at something like the G5, for example, this one also has those torpedoes, and a lot of people use them very effectively against larger things, especially now that they're increasing torpedo damage as we go forward. So don't knock them. They're not going to be very useful against coastal machines, but against larger machines, they may actually work very well if you decide to run this in blue water. It doesn't have any armor, which shouldn't really be a surprise. It's a vehicle that doesn't have a lot to it in terms of survivability. 4mm of steel, and also the internal components. You have, of course, the bridge, the radio station, some engines at the bottom, and then also a ton of fuel on the back, and of course the guns themselves, and that's really about it. It only has 9 crew, so this thing's just gonna get killed very quickly, but that's no different compared to all of the other machines that are around this BR. The main thing is you need to use the DShKs with their good penetration, or even the high explosive, to be able to go after other machines and just hammer time them, which is generally what you want to do with this. So you can see that the 2 DShKs on the front are actually going to be fantastic at going after the machines because you can get both on target at the same time, whereas the back one is going to deal with machines where you're running away from, but generally you want to go front forward with this to try and get both of these on. You could also technically go on the side, get the 3 DShKs on target, which will do the maximum amount of damage and work pretty well. This thing also does have depth charges. Unfortunately, you can't see them right now, but basically they go here. Actually, no, you can see them, can't you? Sorry, my bad. They're actually just lower down. I thought they would be on top. So this thing does have depth charges. The depth charges don't have a use right now, but remember, they are going to be bringing in submarines at some point this year, so then you can actually get some quite good use out of them, which I think is pretty fun. Since this is also a kind of new vehicle, it doesn't have access to any cameras or anything like that, so you pretty much just have what you go for, and also with the modifications, you do have artillery with this vehicle, which I think is pretty cool. Everything else is pretty standard on it, and you won't really have to, do too much with it. So as a vehicle that you're going to grind through in terms of kind of like the tech tree and have a little bit of fun with, I think this one is actually not too bad. The 12.7s on the front, like they'll do some pretty good damage. You can see that the front one, or the one behind it, unfortunately, is angled a bit too high right now, but it'll get there. Maybe if you angle it to the side, it'll be a bit better so it doesn't shoot the other dude in the head. And yeah, it'll be able to do enough damage to general machines that you'll see. And with the torpedoes now getting the buff with the amount of kind of damage that they do, it'll mean against these larger ships, you'll also be able to do a bit more to them, which I think is quite nice. The 12.7s also have 150 rounds in a kind of magazine or a belt, and you can see that you're actually as fast as the torpedoes as they're going through the water, which is not great. You kind of want them to be faster so you can maneuver around. But with 3 12.7s, you can really just kind of annihilate an enemy. You do have to be a bit careful with trying to get them all on target though, and the reload rate, of course, is another thing that's going to be a bit of a problem. But there you go. You can annihilate stuff pretty quickly with this style of vehicle. You also have smoke, which is quite nice, so you can like hide and go away, but usually I wouldn't say this vehicle is fast enough in order for you to be able to do that effectively compared to some other vehicles that are in the general tech tree. You can see here as well, you can use the guns to be able to go after aircraft if they're going towards you. I think in general this is quite a nice little thing that this vehicle has. You know, a lot of other ones which have more derpy guns at the low tiers won't be able to do this, but this vehicle will be able to, which is quite good. So yeah, look forward to this one. It's another nice little addition at the lower areas of the coastal tech tree, and hopefully as time goes on, more of these little things and also the new reserves will give people a reason to get more into the coastal side of things. As always, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time.
I'd just like to thank GMG Smiley, CD Beans, Chieftain Mike, EMN3 Galaxy, Tulio Pontecorvo, Brendan Quinn, Carrion Crow, Gus Irenicus, Pyman, Wartinder, Teddy, Daniel Stanton, Martinez, B. Young, Ozzy Panzer, Alan Hacker, Liam Shear, Opium Prime, Lafouche, Sem, Aslan, Uncle Bean, and Derek R. for supporting the channel.